Thank you, Francisco. Welcome to Clean Water Action's virtual event, Protecting Our Water. I'm Vernice Miller Travis, Vice Chair of the Board of Clean Water Action. And although we can't be in a real winery right now, we're going to come as close to that as we can. To ensure a COVID-friendly environment, we've taken the proper precautions to ensure everyone's safety. One of the things that makes Clean Water Action unique is our ability to work at all levels, national, state, and local, to protect clean water. While we work on policy, we also work on issues from the ground up. Tonight, you will see some of our work from communities in California, Massachusetts, and New Jersey. But we also want to make sure you have time to talk to your friends and enjoy good wine and some music, just like you would do if we were gathering in person. And I know many of you are probably wondering, what are we doing now that there's a new, more environmentally friendly administration in town? With that in mind, here's our President and CEO, Bob Wendelgass.
Thank you, Vernice. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate your support and really want you to enjoy yourselves this evening. A special thank you to everyone who helped organize, sponsor, and produce this event. You'll see their names as the event unfolds tonight, but we couldn't have done it without them. I want to start by acknowledging that the last year has been a challenging time for all of us. A year ago, we had just recently suspended our door-to-door canvass, and we were trying to figure out how to work from home. We had a president who was determined to gut all of the safeguards for our water and our health and undermine action on climate. And many of our neighbors were also starting to be impacted by COVID-19 and the economic crisis it caused. With that in mind, what a difference a year makes. It's stunning how quickly President Biden and his team have moved to begin undoing the dangerous Trump policies, to re-engage with the world to tackle the climate crisis, to build a cabinet that reflects the diversity of our nation, and to bring science back to agencies like the EPA. The new Congress didn't miss a beat either. Early on, the House and Senate began working to protect our right to vote and to make sure our democracy works for all of us by introducing the For the People Act. That's a landmark bill that will ensure all our voices are heard by breaking down barriers to voting, curbing the influence of dark money on our elections, and fighting gerrymandering. So what's on the agenda for Clean Water Action this year? First, reversing the Trump rollbacks is critical. We'll be pushing hard to roll back all of the attacks on the Clean Water Act, to reverse the dirty water rule, restore the rule to cut arsenic, lead, and mercury discharges from power plants, and undo the horribly weak rule on coal ash. But reversing rollbacks isn't enough. We also need to get the lead out of our drinking water. We need to stop the fossil fuel industry from putting our drinking water and our climate at risk. And we need to strengthen laws like the Clean Water Act and the Safe Drinking Water Act and create new safeguards to ensure a clean water future. We also have to address the disproportionate environmental harm faced by communities of color. Landfills, Superfund sites, and polluting facilities are more likely to be near communities of color, and their residents pay for that injustice with their health. We've been working for years to help address this injustice with people across the country, from Newark, New Jersey, to the Central Valley of California, and you'll hear about some of that work in a few minutes. The issues we're focused on this year aren't going to surprise you. First, protecting our water. As we head towards Clean Water Action's 50th birthday next year, and the 50th anniversary of the Clean Water Act, we're focused on getting closer to the Act's goals of making all our water safe for fishing and swimming. That means reducing the poisons that coal-fired power plants dump into our water and the toxic chemicals that leach from their ash piles. And it means taking action to reduce the agricultural pollution that's killing our lakes and making our groundwater undrinkable. It also means improving our drinking water rules and programs. It means getting lead pipes out of drinking water systems and adding new safeguards against toxic pollutants that contaminate our drinking water. Second, we'll continue to push to reduce the fossil fuel pollution that poisons too many communities and drives the climate crisis. Whether it's asthma caused by air pollution from oil and gas wells or cancer from drinking polluted water, too many people suffer and die from our addiction to fossil fuels. We need to drastically ratchet down that pollution now, even while we transition to a cleaner, greener economy. Third, we should not have to worry about toxic chemicals in our pizza boxes, in our clothes, or in the furniture we buy. Unfortunately, we still do. Tonight, we'll share our work in Massachusetts to ban flame retardants from firefighting foam. While we've made good progress in reducing the use of toxic chemicals in a number of states, protection from toxic chemicals shouldn't depend on your zip code. We need national standards too. Finally, the tsunami of single-use plastics just keeps on growing. The solution's simple. Stop plastic pollution at the source, just stop using it, and switch back to reusable items. You'll hear more about how we are helping communities to rethink disposable later this evening. There are some huge opportunities to make progress this year, protecting our water and our health. Thank you again for all of your support, and we look forward to working with you this year to make that happen. Tonight we'll be highlighting a few of our programs focused on our work across the nation. Here's Vernice with our first program highlight.
Thank you, Bob. Our first community video focuses on oil and gas operations in Lost Hills in Kern County, California. This area is one of the largest producers of oil in California. We have Jesus Alonso, our community organizer for oil and gas, who will talk about oil and gas operations and their impact on the air and water and his efforts to bring about environmental justice.
Hi, my name is Jesus Alonso. I'm the Kern Community Organizer for Clean Water Action for the Oakland office. I'm based out in Kern County, and my work consists of community organizing and leadership development in order to address the health and environmental impacts from the oil and gas industry. Currently, we are on top of one of the buildings in the school district in Lost Hills, which is a low-income community of color just 3/4 to about a mile downwind from one of the largest producing oil fields in all of California. And that's what we see here is the school, and then we see the oil fields. Right there. Almost wrapping around the school. Because of this, we were able to work with community members to form a committee, and from that committee develop a monitoring plan that successfully win an air grant for the community. Now we have community-based monitors in key community-identified locations. The data from these monitors immediately goes to a website accessible to everyone to help community members improve their overall health in the community. Along with this, we have been able to successfully advocate for state monitors that help create more accountability on the oil and gas industry. Through our community efforts, we have also been able to fight back against local and statewide legislation aimed at making things easier for the oil industry to pollute our communities even more.
Jesus, can you explain what impacts these oil and gas producing facilities have had on the nearby communities?
Absolutely. The oil and gas production near the community has had major impacts on the health of our community members. We've had community members who have fought or are fighting cancer. We have several of our community members with cardiovascular or respiratory diseases. And our most vulnerable are children, our elderly, and those who already have other illnesses are in greater risk of developing these health issues. Speaking with some of the community members, we've had one comité member who has shared their struggle in raising his daughter near the oil fields. And he periodically had to take his daughter to the hospital 30 minutes away because of her severe asthma reaction to the contaminants in the air.
Thanks, Jesus. With the air monitoring system in place, what kinds of pollutants are you seeing? What's in the air that people are breathing?
With the community air monitors, we have seen a variety of different contaminants, mostly particulate matter 2.5, particulate matter 10, ozone, volatile organic compounds, all which lead to the diseases like cancer, respiratory, and cardiovascular diseases.
And what kind of reactions are you getting from your elected officials? Are they listening? Are they trying to change things?
We have had a mixed reaction. We have, at the local and state level, we have representatives who completely ignore the information and put oil and gas greed over the needs and health of our community members. And on the other end, we have champions who are really fighting, who are really listening to our community members and fighting for their health. We have legislators fighting for a 2,500-foot buffer zone that would create, that would be a protection for our neighborhoods, our clinics, our schools, things that should already be protected but are currently not here in California. We also have legislation to remove all the dangerous drilling practices in California. These dangerous drilling practices lead to the various emissions that put the health of our community at risk, and can even, and these same practices can even go on to contaminate our drinking water as well.
Right. Well, thank you, Jesus. We appreciate the work that you're doing. It's fabulous work and really important. And it's, you know, I think the answer that you gave there about mixed reactions, some champs and a lot of folks who are basically parroting the line of the oil and gas industry is a testament to why this work is so important and why it's important that we continue doing this work in Kern County.
And now we have Caroline Slobodzian, Major Gifts Officer, here with us tonight, who has a special announcement. Caroline?
It's great to see all of you here tonight. I'm pleased to announce a $15,000 matching gift opportunity from Lee Lockwood in honor of her late husband, Peter. As you know, Vernice, Peter was a founding board member of Clean Water Action, whose leadership and passion for our work shepherded us through several decades of tirelessly working to protect our water. His commitment to our organization and campaign since our founding in 1972 through his death in 2017 is something we will never forget and will always be thankful for.
My very first Clean Water Action Board meeting, Peter was sitting directly across the room from me. As we weighed into discussing some issue, I got a little wound up. And Peter looked at me with a wry smile and said, "Down, girl, down." I and the rest of the board broke out into laughter. I adored him from that moment forward. When I came to really understand who he was, what he had done in his life, like clerked for Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall, and that he was a founder of Clean Water Action, I thought how lucky I was to be invited to serve on a board that included this giant of a human being, Peter Lockwood.
We are also thankful that Lee has continued his legacy. As Bob mentioned earlier, we have a lot of work ahead of us this year restoring and advancing protections for clean water. My ask tonight is that all of you make a gift of $250 or more, any amount you can do to help us reach this ambitious goal. You can make a donation at cleanwater.org/match.
And what wines will we be drinking tonight, Caroline?
I'm pleased to announce that the wine you'll be drinking tonight comes from Enfield Wine Company out of Napa Valley in California. Tonight, we have John Lockwood, Peter and Lee's son, here to guide you through a tasting of two wines paired with cheese. John is the owner and winemaker for Enfield Wine Company. He organically farms grapes in Napa as well as purchasing from other small growers around California. The limited production wines focus on low-intervention, natural winemaking and are highly sought after and served at many of the top restaurants around the country.